right? Quilting's fun.
It is fun.
I hope it's fun.
It is fun.
It should be fun. So we shouldn't get hung up on being afraid to try a new technique like curves. When you start then with template curves, the same thing that I said about the freeform curves is that you need to keep the mirror image in place. So your first pin is always finding the center, lining them up. Little finger press is always a good way to do that. That's your first pin, because I don't want to mess with the mirror image when I'm sewing these curves, okay?
Okay.
So I've finger pressed it. I'm going to pin it. Okay.
Very good, all right.
Now my other pins are going to go on the end. You have a tiny little dog ear.
Yeah, I see that, and I think that's
lining up.
something that people oftentimes forget, is they try to actually match up the edges of the fabric, but you've got to kind of offset them where there's a little inset
That's
there.
a very good point, because I found out that some people, even after 30 years, don't know about how you line up that dog ear. Mathematically, it actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but visually, if you're putting your raw edges together, where my fingernail is right now, it's kind of hard to see on this. Where the white fabric and the yellow fabric are intersecting, that's my 1/4 inch. It's
Yes.
a 1/4 inch where your needle is going to start hitting the fabric that you need your 2 layers of fabric there. So if it's not a 1/4 inch of fabric, otherwise my seams are intersecting at a 1/2
that's way
inch.
too much.
That's not it. So it's a tiny amount of fabric that sticks off the end. That's so that after you've sewn it, you open it up, your raw edge, your curve is going to line up.
Sure.
Okay. So that's my second pin, and then I'm going to come around and I'm going to do the same thing on the third side.
I love that there's only 3 pins.
There's only 3 pins.
Because I've seen people trying to like put 20 pins in
Well,
there.
and there's a reason that I do this. One is to get people to really look at how the fabric's going underneath the needle again, okay? So this goes back to the freeform curves thing. When we're focusing from first pin to second pin, you barely have a curve anymore.
And it's what,
there's
like
no curve.
4 inches or so?
It's like 4 inches. That's all you're focusing on when you're sewing it. And if you check your pinning after you've done it, your raw edges should come right together. So I can already see if I put that underneath my needle and I start sewing, I have no extra fabric. There's nothing to ease in.
Okay.
Easing's not a quilting term. That's for putting sleeves and
Yes,
things
I
in,
understand, right?
right?
It should just fit.
Yeah, it should just fit. So then we're going to take that
All right,
to the
let's do it.
machine. And the other thing is, which way do we sew this? I'm not giving it away.
Okay.
I'm giving it away.
Well, I don't know. Tell me.
Floppy toppy.
Floppy toppy. All
Okay,
right.
it's a visual. You always remember it then. Belly on the bottom, the floppy toppy. The part with more fabric should be on the top.
Okay.
So the
All
reason
right.
I like that too is if you do put 50 pins in there and you try to sew that, people will go, well, I pinned it. Why do I have pleats in it? It's because you've put the fabric where you think it needs to go and not
Instead of
actually
where it's
letting the fabric
go where
fit
it
where
needs
it's
to, yeah.
supposed to go with your mirror image.